Hello and welcome to this video on supplementary verse 6. That's a supplementary to the Thomas Egenes Sanskrit lesson 6. I'll call it up for you. Oops. Note in this lesson that the way the verse is given here, there are two cases where the sandhi has not been applied, and I think the editor of the verse for the purpose of this lesson has done that to make matters a little bit simpler for the student to see the words with in their form without sandhi. Of course, it's not quite correct to write it like that, but it's acceptable for teaching purposes to write it in that way. And in fact, you've seen already that many of the examples in Thomas Egenes are given without sandhi and with sandhi. Here they're given, there are two cases where the sandhi is not put in. I'll explain those to you when I come to the explanation. And I shall also read it as written here without the sandhi. Taranam bhushanam chandra, narinam bhushanam pati, prithivya bhushanam raja, vidya sarvasya bhushanam. And again, Taranam bhushanam chandra, narinam bhushanam pati, prithivya bhushanam raja, vidya sarvasya bhushanam. I will now go to iPad. This verse consists actually of four separate short sentences. The moon is the ornament of the stars, the husband is the ornament of women, the king is the ornament of the earth, knowledge is the ornament of everyone. Note also that in each case what's known as the copula, meaning the is A, is B, is omitted. So the first sentence, Taranam bhushanam chandra, is just the moon, the ornament of the stars, meaning the moon is the ornament of the stars. And it's perfectly acceptable to admit the copula is, the equating is A is B in sentences like this. So a star, tara, star. Nouns ending in short ah or long ah make their genitive plural by going anam. So tara becomes taranam. You'll note the subdotted n and the genitive plural here. Subdotted, it becomes retroflex because within the same word, if an n follows an r, it makes it retroflex, taranam. And the same, by the way, happens with the letter sh. So in the next word, you have bhushanam, retroflex sh, and n following is also retroflex. This was bhushana. So taranam, of the stars. Taranam bhushanam, the ornament or the adornment of the stars, what makes the stars beautiful or adds to the beauty of the stars. It's as if to say the stars are incomplete on their own, put the moon there and you have a perfect picture of beauty, a perfectly adorned picture. So Taranam bhushanam chandra. Chandra is an ordinary word meaning moon. It's actually from a root, chand, meaning to light up or be bright. So the chandra, masculine noun now, chandra, that which is bright, the bright. Incidentally, cognate with Latin cand, as in incandescent, our English word candle, or the idea of brightness. So the ch, very frequent mutation in the Indo-European languages. So the Chandra, the moon. So Chandra, masculine noun, Chandra, Bhushanam Taranam. The moon is the ornament of the stars. Narinam Bhushanam Pati. I do not take responsibility for the patriarchal views expressed by the poet here. I simply explain what he's saying. So Pati, Pati is masculine noun. It means somebody in command, a lord, a master, and in the matrimonial relationship, it means husband. We know that Anara means a man, and the feminine form, a woman, is a Nari. So just as words ending nominals, that's nouns, adjectives, and so on, ending in an a or an a make their genitive plural in anam, so a word ending in a short I or a long E, they make their genitive plural in inam. So of women is narinam. And again, because of that r there, the following end becomes retroflex, narinam. So pati bhushanam narinam. The husband is the adornment of women. It's as if to say that a woman is only complete if she has a husband. As I say, I do not take responsibility for these views, nor do I endorse them. I'm simply explaining what is being said. Narinam bhushanam pati, of women, ornament the husband. The husband is the ornament of women. Prithivya bhushanam raja. The Raja, the king, is the Prithivya Bhushanam, is the ornament of the Prithivi. There is the adjective Prithu, which means broad. And our English word broad is cognate with Prithu. You can see the t, r, p, r, t, b, r, t, Prithu, broad, as an adjective. It makes its, like there are several adjectives that ending in u that make their feminine by changing the u to a v and adding a long e. So prithvi. So prithvi, just the feminine form of prithu. And it's used also to mean the earth, the wide earth, that which is broad, the wide, prithvi. And there's an alternative form that inserts an e before the v, so it becomes prithvi. And that is done, it's a bit of an anomaly. Normally Sanskrit doesn't behave like that. It varies the normal feminine form of an adjective to give it a slightly separate meaning. And the general meaning of Prithvi is the earth personified, as in the goddess earth, or Gaia as a personified thing. So Prithvi, so not just the physical object, but the spirituality, the personality of it, Prithvi. Feminine, also feminine, of course. Feminine nouns ending in e, and same applies to adjectives, of course. Prithvi, it makes their genitive form like this. The v becomes vya. So, saying the Raja, the king, is the bhushanam, the adornment, prithivya, of the Prithivi, of the broad, of the earth, of Gaia. The king is the ornament of Gaia. In other words, you have an earth, land without a good and just king. It is unadorned. The good and just king will be the adornment of Prithivi, the Prithivya Bhushanam Raja. And the last pada, the last half line, is vidya sarvasya bhushanam. Vidya, we know knowledge from the root vid, meaning to know, cognate with vision and video. Vidya originally meant seeing, so vidya, adding this ya to the root, means seeing, and therefore by extension knowledge. So vidya, knowledge, sarvasya bhushanam, sarva. Sarva, it's an adjective meaning all, very often used in the plural, as in may all beings be happy. Sarve sattva sukhita bhavantu, which in Pali becomes sabbe satta sukhita huntu. Got that? Sarve sattva sukhita bhavantu. Pali sabbe satta sukhita huntu. As a neuter noun, sarvam, and in the singular, it can mean everything. And as we generally have in nominals ending in an a, the genitive is sarvasya. So sarvasya means of everything. Also, that's meaning everything. Also, as a masculine noun, sarva, it can mean everyone. Normally, you would tend to find, I think I'm right in saying, it would be used in the plural to mean everyone, all persons, the plural sarve. But it can be used in the singular. So sarva, the same genitive, sarvasya, can mean of everything or of everyone. And the translator in the ANU translator is translator of everyone, which, yeah, most probably right. But remember, there is a potential ambiguity here. And this ambiguity you very often find in translations. Does it mean of everything, or does it mean of everyone? When you translate sarvasya into English, you have got to, or if you do it this way, of everything, of everyone, you've got to resolve the ambiguity that's inherent in the Sanskrit, and you've got to remove that ambiguity. So that, to a certain extent, can be said to be a misleading, not exactly a wrong translation, but a bit of a misleading translation, because it suggests that it has only one meaning. Everyone, only one meaning. Everything, one meaning. Whereas the Sanskrit has this ambiguity there. It could be either, or it could be both at the same time, so often in Sanskrit literature. And we see it in Pali as well. In poetry generally, there's almost an intentional, there is an intentional ambiguity, or an ambiguity that's there and it doesn't matter, because you're allowed to hold both meanings at the same time. So sarvasya here could actually be construed as meaning of all meaning everything, and all meaning everybody. Well, it doesn't mean all things or all persons. Well, maybe both, Linguistically allowable, logically, in poetry, it's allowable. So you could say, vidya sarvasya bhushanam, knowledge adorns all, using this rather the broad English, all, meaning all persons and all things, everything, all persons and things, all that is. Now, I mentioned at the beginning that there were two cases here where the sandhi has not been applied, that's to aid students. And this is in the first line. You'll see Chandra. I'll just call back the text here and highlight it for you. Verse 6, where we are. Oops, here we are. There we are. Oh, come on. Sorry. You see Chandra Narinam. Now, in Sandhi, Standing on its own, this word would be Chandra. Following word Narinam. The ah before a voiced consonant becomes O. So with the Sandhi, this verse would be Taranam Bhushanam Chandro Nadinam Bhushanam Pati. In the second verse, Prithivya Bhushanam, the rule is that where you get a word ending in a long ah with visarga, ah, as in here, Prithivya, which is the genitive singular Prithivi, followed by a voiced consonant here, bh. See? What happens there? When these two join, the visarga drops out. So it should be, with applying the sandhi correctly, it should be Prithivya, with no visarga, Prithivya Bhushanam Raja. What I will do now, I will read the verse, coming to the end of this now. Well, I'll read this verse again through twice. Sorry, I just at that moment failed to show you my iPad. So Chandra Narinam, I was explaining, so I forgot to show my screen here. Prithivya Bhushanam, long A with Visarga, subdotted H, followed by voiced consonant. The Visarga drops out as Prithivya Bhushanam. What I'll do now, before we wind up, is to read this verse through again slowly twice. I will read it first without the sandhi as it's given in the text that you have, and then I will read it with the correct sandhi applied. Those two cases that I showed you. All of the rest of this verse, there was no sandhi to be done apart from the anuswara. That's a different story. Here we are. Here we go. Taranam Bhushanam Chandra Narinam Bhushanam Pati Prithivya Bhushanam Raja Vidya Sarvasya Bhushanam. Now I'll read it with the correct sandhi. Taranam Bhushanam Chandro Narinam Bhushanam Pati Prithivya Bhushanam Raja Vidya Sarvasya Bhushanam. That concludes this video.